Respect is not just a word in relationships. It is the very foundation on which true love stands strong. Admiration can feel flattering in the moment. It gives a man a rush of pride when a woman looks at him with amazement, praises his accomplishments, or compliments his strengths. But admiration is often temporary. It comes and goes depending on circumstances. What actually keeps a man rooted in love, what makes him trust deeply and remain loyal beyond temptation, is respect. When a man feels respected, he feels truly seen, valued, and safe in the relationship in a way that admiration alone can never provide. Respect is different from admiration because it reaches the core of his identity. Admiration is often focused on the external, the job he got, the way he looks, the money he earned, or the charm he carries in a moment. Respect, on the other hand, touches his essence. It tells him, I value you, or even when no one is watching. I believe in your journey, even when you are still becoming. A man can sense the difference almost instantly. Admiration without respect feels hollow, like a spotlight that fades when the performance is over. Respect feels steady, like the ground beneath his feet, allowing him to stand taller and move with more courage. Men crave respect more deeply than most people realize. It is wired into their emotional fabric. When a woman shows respect not only for his successes, but also for his efforts, his struggles, and even his dreams that have not yet come true, she speaks directly to his heart. Respect is expressed in the way she listens to him without belittling his ideas, even when she disagrees. It is expressed in the way she acknowledges his efforts to provide, to protect, to build a life, even if those efforts are imperfect. Respect is shown when she does not dismiss his emotions or laugh at his fears, but instead honors them as real. That kind of respect makes a man feel he has found a partner who truly understands him, not just an admirer who enjoys the highlights of his life. The power of respect also lies in its consistency. Admiration can be performed. Someone can praise a man for what he has, even if they do not believe in him. But respect cannot be faked for long. Respect requires patience, empathy, and humility. It asks a woman to look beyond what is convenient and into what is true. For example, a man who is struggling in his career may not receive much admiration from the world, but when the woman in his life still respects his determination, his values, and his character, he feels loved in a way that admiration alone cannot match. That is what makes him want to hold on, fight harder, and give back with even greater loyalty. Respect also transforms the way a man behaves in the relationship. A man who feels admired might enjoy the attention but still remain distant or uncommitted. A man who feels respected, however, feels safe enough to open his heart, share his vulnerabilities, and build a future. Respect inspires responsibility. It makes him want to rise higher, not because he has to, but because he wants to be worthy of the woman who sees and honors him. In this way, respect does not only deepen love, it elevates the man himself. At its core, respect is about choice. It is choosing to value his voice, choosing to believe in his worth even when the world doubts him, and choosing to honor him for more than what he can give or do. That choice creates an unshakable bond. Men may enjoy admiration, but admiration can fade when circumstances change. Respect, however, endures, and it is respect that makes love not just a fleeting feeling, but a lasting part, and consistency is one of the most underestimated forces in relationships. Yet it is the very quality that builds unshakable trust and emotional security. What truly melts a man's heart is not a single act of affection, not a sudden grand gesture, but the repeated, reliable actions that show him he is safe to invest his love. Men, just like women, carry silent fears of being let down, abandoned, or misunderstood. They may not always express these fears openly, but they are there beneath the surface. Consistency becomes the remedy to those doubts, because it proves through time and behavior that love is not just a momentary spark, but a steady flame that will not easily fade. A man may appreciate a surprise gift, a passionate kiss, or a sweet note left for him. But what changes the way he feels about a woman is the reliability of her presence. It is the way she shows up day after day, even in small ways, that tells him she is real. A kind word repeated, a promise kept, a steady tone of respect in moments of disagreement. These little things compound over time to create a foundation stronger than any romantic gesture. Grand gestures impress him, but consistency anchors him. He falls in love with the pattern of reassurance, with the knowledge that what she does today will not vanish tomorrow. Consistency is also powerful because it eliminates doubt. A man who is constantly wondering where he stands cannot fully relax into love. If one day he is celebrated and the next he is dismissed, if one week he feels supported but the next he feels ignored, he begins to withhold himself emotionally as a way of protecting his heart. But when he sees steadiness in the way she treats him, when he sees that her affection does not vanish after a fight, when her respect does not disappear when he struggles, his guard lowers. Slowly but surely, he begins to open himself in ways he never could with someone unpredictable. Trust is not built in a single moment of passion. It is built in countless small confirmations that love will still be there tomorrow. What makes consistency even more vital is that it speaks to a man's deepest longing for loyalty. Men are taught to be strong, to hide weakness, to carry responsibility silently. But in truth, they want to know that someone will not only admire their strength, but also stand by them through their weakness. Consistency says, I am not just here for the good times, I am here for the long haul. When a man receives that assurance, not just through words, but through repeated behavior, it penetrates his heart in a way nothing else can. He begins to see her not as someone temporary, but as someone irreplaceable. It is easy to mistake passion for love, but passion without consistency burns out quickly. Consistency is what sustains passion and gives it depth. Imagine a man who hears, "I love you," one day but senses indifference the next. The words lose their meaning. Now imagine a man who hears fewer words, but every day sees love expressed through reliability, her listening when he needs to talk, her patience when he falls short, her effort to show up when she could have walked away. That consistency makes him believe in her love more deeply than the most romantic declaration. Ultimately, consistency is not about perfection. It does not mean never failing or never disagreeing. It means showing up again and again, even after mistakes. It means apologizing sincerely and proving through changed behavior that love matters more than ego. It means not disappearing when life gets messy. A man does not fall deeply in love with a flawless performance. He falls in love with the steady rhythm of care, respect, and presence that proves over time he is safe to trust. And once that trust is built, it becomes the anchor that holds the relationship steady through storms, making love not just passionate but lasting. Emotional safety is one of the most powerful yet overlooked elements of love, and is the very space where true desire is born. Many people assume men fall in love primarily because of physical attraction. But what truly bonds a man to a woman is the experience of feeling safe to reveal his hidden self. Men are often taught to hide their fears, their insecurities, and their weaknesses. Society expects them to appear strong, confident, and in control, even when on the inside they are struggling. This makes them cautious about opening up, even to the women they care for. But when a man meets someone who creates an environment where he feels his vulnerabilities will not be mocked, judged, or dismissed, something shifts inside him. He begins to feel a deep pull, not just toward her presence, but toward her soul. This is where emotional safety becomes the foundation of desire. A man may feel physical attraction to many, but emotional safety makes him choose to stay with one. It is the quiet assurance that if he reveals his doubts, he will not be made to feel small. If he admits his fears, they will not be used against him. If he shares his failures, he will not be seen as less of a man. When a woman gives him that safety, she becomes someone he does not want to lose. She becomes the only place where he can lay down the heavy armor he wears for the world. That relief of being accepted completely makes him desire her not just with his body, but with his entire being. Emotional safety is communicated in the smallest moments. It is in the way she listens without rushing to correct him, in the way she supports him when he admits he is uncertain, in the way she respects his silence when he is not ready to talk. It shows up in her ability to hold space for him rather than demanding instant solutions. When she chooses empathy instead of criticism, patience instead of pressure, encouragement instead of doubt, she becomes the person he trusts most. And trust is what allows desire to deepen. Without trust, attraction stays shallow. With trust, attraction grows into intimacy that feels unbreakable. It is also important to understand that men rarely find spaces of emotional safety in the world. In their workplaces, they are expected to compete. Among friends, vulnerability can be seen as weakness. Even in families, many men grow up hearing they must be tough and unemotional. Because of this, when a woman creates a space where his hidden self is welcomed rather than shamed, it feels rare, even sacred. It sets her apart from anyone else in his life. He begins to associate her presence with peace, with relief, with the kind of acceptance he has longed for but rarely experienced. That experience is what makes him attach himself so deeply, because desire is no longer just about passion. It is about the safety of returning to the one place where he can be fully human. This does not mean emotional safety requires ignoring flaws or pretending everything is perfect. It means responding with compassion instead of contempt, with understanding instead of judgment. When he makes mistakes, emotional safety allows space for accountability without humiliation. When he dreams big, emotional safety means encouraging his vision rather than mocking it. This balance of truth and kindness assures him that he is respected as much as he is loved. And respect combined with acceptance is what transforms a man's attraction into lifelong desire. The deepest truth is this: a man cannot fully desire someone he fears. If he fears judgment, rejection, or betrayal, his heart stays guarded. But when he feels safe, safe to cry, safe to fail, safe to dream, his desire becomes unstoppable. He does not just want her body, he wants her presence, her voice, her energy. He wants to share his life with her. Emotional safety does not diminish desire, it multiplies it, because it allows him to bring all of himself into the relationship. And once he has experienced that kind of safety, he knows he will not find it anywhere else, making his love and devotion unshakable. Playfulness is often underestimated in relationships, yet it is one of the most powerful elements that keeps love alive and thriving. When two people first fall in love, everything feels light, exciting, and full of possibility. They laugh easily, tease gently, and share little moments of joy that make being together feel effortless. But as time passes, responsibilities, stress, and routines often take over, and the spark begins to fade. What many don't realize is that it is not love itself that disappears. It is the playfulness that gets buried beneath life's weight. For a man, laughter and lightness are reminders that love should feel like freedom, not a duty. When a woman brings playfulness into the relationship, she creates a space where joy is just as important as responsibility, and that makes him fall deeper in love. Men often carry heavy expectations on their shoulders. They are expected to provide, to protect, to stay strong, and to constantly prove their worth in a competitive world. This weight can make them serious, guarded, or even distant at times. What breaks that heaviness is not more pressure, but the gift of playfulness. A shared laugh, a spontaneous joke, or a lighthearted gesture can melt the stress away in an instant. It tells him he does not always have to be serious, that he does not always have to perform or achieve to be loved. With playfulness, he feels free to simply be himself. That feeling of freedom creates a bond stronger than any obligation. Playfulness is not about immaturity or avoiding real issues. It is about balancing the seriousness of life with moments of joy that make love feel alive. When two people can laugh together even in difficult times, they remind each other that they are teammates, not opponents. A playful nudge during a disagreement, a silly inside joke shared in a crowded room, or a fun challenge like cooking together and laughing at the mess. These little things prevent bitterness from building. They turn ordinary days into memories and transform struggles into opportunities for connection. For a man, that kind of joy becomes addictive because it gives him not only love but also lightness. Playfulness also rekindles desire. Men are drawn to women who can laugh with them, not just at the good times, but at the awkward and imperfect ones too. A playful attitude signals that she is comfortable, confident, and willing to create happiness in the relationship rather than waiting for it to appear. It sparks attraction in a way that goes beyond looks or grand gestures. When she can make him laugh after a stressful day, when she can lighten the mood with a smile or a playful touch, he feels both relaxed and drawn closer to her. That combination of ease and attraction is what keeps the relationship exciting long after the initial passion fades. Another reason playfulness is powerful is because it keeps love rooted in friendship. At the core of every lasting relationship is the friendship that two people share, the ability to enjoy each other's company without needing constant romance or drama. Playfulness nurtures that friendship by keeping things fresh, reminding him why he loves spending time with her in the first place. A man may admire beauty or intelligence, but what makes him stay is the joy of simply being around someone who makes life feel lighter. When playfulness is missing, relationships can start to feel like work. Conversations become transactional, routines become monotonous, and laughter fades away. A man in such a relationship may feel trapped or drained even if love is still there. But when playfulness is present, even ordinary tasks, like shopping for groceries or cleaning the house, can turn into moments of connection and fun. That sense of shared joy turns the relationship from a duty into a delight, something he looks forward to rather than something he feels responsible for. At its heart, playfulness is about reminding each other not to take everything too seriously. Life will always have challenges, but love should be the place where laughter softens the edges. For a man, being with someone who can laugh with him, who can bring lightness into heavy days, makes him feel he has not only a partner but also a companion who brings joy into his life. That joy keeps the spark alive, turning love into an adventure rather than a burden, and it is this very spark that makes him fall in love more deeply with every shared smile and every playful moment. Belief in a man's potential is one of the deepest ways to touch his heart, because it speaks to both who he is now and who he is capable of becoming. Every man, no matter how confident he may appear, carries quiet doubts about his abilities, his future, and his worth. He may project strength to the world, but inside, he questions whether he is enough or whether he will achieve the dreams he carries. When a woman chooses to see beyond his current flaws, beyond his present struggles, and instead affirms his potential, she gives him a gift greater than admiration. She gives him hope. And hope, when nurtured with encouragement, can make him fall in love in ways nothing else can. Believing in his potential does not mean ignoring his weaknesses or pretending he is perfect. It means recognizing his humanity while still choosing to see the best in him. A man may know his shortcomings better than anyone else, and often he fears those shortcomings will define him in the eyes of others. But when she looks at him and sees not only what he is, but also what he can become, he feels understood and inspired rather than judged. That perspective makes him want to rise, not because he feels pressured, but because he feels supported. It is the difference between criticism that wounds and encouragement that builds. This belief also fuels his growth. Men often push themselves harder when they know someone believes in them. The world can be harsh, offering doubt, rejection, and skepticism at every turn. But when he comes home to someone who says with her presence and her words, "I believe in you, I see your strength, and I know you are capable of more," he finds the courage to keep going. That encouragement becomes his fuel. It is not about solving his problems for him, but about giving him the inner fire to face them himself. A man falls deeper in love with the woman who becomes that steady reminder of his potential, because she becomes not just his partner in the present, but his inspiration for the future. Belief in his potential is also an expression of unconditional respect. It tells him that his value is not tied to his current circumstances. Whether he is successful or struggling, whether he is at the peak of his career or just starting out, her belief remains the same. That kind of loyalty is rare, and a man treasures it deeply. It makes him see her not as someone who loves him only for what he provides now, but as someone who loves him for who he is becoming. That difference builds not only trust, but also devotion, because he knows her love is not conditional on external results. At the same time, belief in his potential is not about blind praise. It is about seeing clearly, yet choosing to nurture. It means challenging him when he settles for less than he is capable of, while still offering encouragement instead of criticism. It means reminding him of his strengths when he forgets them, and holding space for his vision even when it has not yet materialized. This balance of honesty and faith creates a powerful dynamic. He does not feel pressure to be perfect, but he feels motivated to keep growing because she believes he can. For a man, this kind of support is more intimate than physical attraction. Physical beauty may capture his attention, but a woman who believes in his potential captures his soul. She becomes his anchor when he feels weak and his mirror when he doubts himself. He falls in love with her not only because she accepts him as he is, but because she inspires him to become more than he thought possible. That inspiration makes her irreplaceable in his heart, because no one else has given him that same sense of being both accepted and empowered. Ultimately, men are not looking for someone to save them, they are looking for someone to believe in them. When a woman believes in his potential, she is telling him he is worth the journey, worth the fight, worth the effort of becoming his best self. That belief plants seeds of confidence that grow into action, and every time he rises closer to his dreams, he remembers the woman who stood by him when no one else could see the vision. That memory binds him to her, and it is why belief in his potential makes him fall not just in love, but in love that deepens with every step he takes toward the man he is meant to. Authenticity is one of the most powerful qualities in love, and it carries a weight that perfection never can. Many people believe that to win someone's heart, they need to present a flawless version of themselves, always composed, always polished, always saying and doing the right things. But the truth is that perfection can feel distant, cold, and even intimidating. What truly moves a man's heart is authenticity, the ability to be genuine, to be honest, and to let him see the real person behind the mask. When a woman dares to be real instead of perfect, she creates a connection that no act of performance can replicate. Men fall in love not with an illusion, but with the feeling of intimacy that comes when someone is unafraid to be themselves. A flawless image may impress at first, but it does not invite closeness. Realness, on the other hand, creates comfort. It tells him that he can also be himself, that he does not have to constantly perform or hide his flaws. In a world where men are expected to appear strong and unshakable, being with someone authentic feels like breathing freely. It becomes a space where his own humanity is welcomed rather than hidden. That is why authenticity touches him more deeply than perfection ever could. Authenticity is expressed in small, honest moments. The laugh that is unfiltered, the tears that are not hidden, the admission of fear without shame. When she shows him not only her strengths but also her struggles, he feels closer to her. Vulnerability draws people in because it reveals truth, and truth builds trust. A woman who pretends to be perfect may win admiration, but admiration alone does not make a man stay. What makes him stay is the raw truth, that she trusts him enough to show her unpolished self. That trust makes him want to open his heart in return, and mutual openness deepens love more than any carefully maintained image could. The beauty of authenticity is that it creates safety in the relationship. When she is real, he does not have to worry about hidden agendas or constant judgment. He knows where he stands because her words and actions align with her truth. That steadiness makes him relax, and from relaxation grows desire. Perfection, in contrast, can create distance because it feels unattainable. He may admire the flawless mask, but he cannot touch it. He cannot fully connect with someone who never lets the mask slip. Authenticity, however, invites closeness. It is raw, human, and alive. Authenticity also inspires admiration of a different kind. Not the admiration that comes from watching someone seem untouchable, but the admiration that comes from courage. It takes strength to be real in a world that constantly pressures people to perform. When a woman is unafraid to stand in her truth, to express her feelings openly, to own her imperfections without apology, it makes him respect her deeply. That respect is not surface level, it is rooted in knowing that her love is honest, that her presence is not built on a performance that will fade over time. For men, this matters deeply because they too long for a love where they do not have to be perfect. When she is authentic, she silently gives him permission to let go of the pressure to always be in control or flawless himself. He begins to feel that he does not have to hide his doubts, his failures, or his mistakes. That freedom creates a powerful intimacy because two real people can grow together in ways that two performers never can. It is this shared authenticity that builds resilience because when life tests the relationship, perfection crumbles, but truth endures. Ultimately, authenticity beats perfection because it creates love that is sustainable. Perfection might attract attention, but authenticity keeps connection. Men fall deeply for the woman who is unapologetically herself, Because with her, he feels both accepted and inspired. He does not love her because she is flawless, he loves her because she is real. Her honesty touches his soul, her vulnerability invites his heart, and her courage to be genuine makes her unforgettable. In the end, masks may impress, but they fall away with time. What remains, what truly binds two people together, is authenticity. The unshakable truth that realness, not perfection, is what makes love last.